Okay, so today we are talking about Switch 1 games that are going to be on the Switch 2. Now, some new information has come out about this, and I want to talk about it today because it's exciting and we have no other news right now. I'm just counting down the days. We have 2 weeks left until the Switch 2, and I'm excited. So, there's been some new info that's come out about the games, specifically the free games that are getting kind of like a visual enhancement on the Switch 2, and just like little things overall. So they aren't these like paid upgrades. So there's these like separate like Switch 2 version of the Switch 1 games that are like paid or whatever it is, and then there's just these Switch 1 ports that have like better visuals and stuff like that. So going off of it, there is a big list here that I have. Specifically, I'm just going to go over the big ones here because, you know, we don't care about Big Brain Academy, do we? So, aside from that, let's talk about these games. So, the first game we have on the list that is getting a Switch 2 visual enhancement is ARMS. ARMS is a very interesting game. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this game in recent years. I know when the Switch first came out, it was like this game that was like, I'd say it had a pretty decent like community fan base, but now I wouldn't say so much. But who knows? Could bring it back. I doubt it, but you know, besides the point, ARMS is getting a visual and frame rate upgrade, plus it's getting HDR support. So just like the normal stuff. And some of these games are getting like the normal stuff, but there are other games that are getting some extra stuff, like for example, mouse controls or like game share enhancements and stuff like that. So all that stuff. Next, we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and this has a visual upgrade and HDR support and has game chat functionality. So I don't know how that's going to work exactly. I think there's multiplayer in Captain Toad, so I wonder if you can do like the game share and have game chat going at the same time. It's going to be interesting with that. And I wonder how game chat will work in these games too. Like now diving into it more, because game chat, from what I'm seeing, is that you can only activate it in certain games, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure that we fully know where game chat can be used in a sense, or if it's limited to certain games, or if we can just use it whenever we want. Hopefully we can use it whenever we want. But you know, maybe that means sharing the game through game chat. But besides the point, let's continue with this list because, you know, then we have Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. I love Clubhouse games. I think like me and a buddy were on a plane ride and just like we played Clubhouse games the entire time. It's definitely like a good game. That's just like, you don't need to pack all your board games, you just have those games and it's good. So Clubhouse Games is definitely like the underrated side of the Switch in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people like the game, but I don't see like a fan base talking about it much. So this game is definitely cool and I'm glad to see it is getting an upgrade. The upgrade for it is that it's gonna have game chat. So my guess too with this is that you will be able to share the game, which we saw in the trailer, so that will be nice. And apparently it says expanded multiplayer. What does that mean? I'm very interested by expanded multiplayer, because doesn't it already have multiplayer? I'm pretty sure it does. So we'll find out what expanded multiplayer means. Now, another like lower end type of game that was pretty popular for a while but kind of died down, kind of the same with ARMS in a sense, but it's Game Builder Garage. Now, this game in particular is exciting because what we have here is a visual update, but you can also use the mouse controls with it. So I think this is one of the first Switch 1 games that you're going to be able to use the mouse controls. Now, I will point out, because I had a previous video a while back talking about Mario Maker with mouse controls and Mario Maker 2. There is no Mario Maker 2 on here. So either they're going to add that later or we're getting a Mario Maker 3. But it depends. We will definitely see. And hopefully it's either or, because that would be exciting, you know? I mean, Mario Maker 2 is definitely a good game for sure. And I think like mouse controls would like bring it to another level. But I think Mario Maker 3 is definitely exciting here. And I think like Nintendo could do pretty well with it. Now, another interesting one we got here is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This game is just getting a visual update, but what I find interesting about this game too is that there is no Mario Wonder. And so they have these Switch 2 upgrade packs. I wonder if Mario Wonder is going to be in one of these Switch 2 upgrade packs, and I would suspect it is. I think Mario Wonder is going to get a DLC, but who knows? It could be a free update, but my guess is that since this game is so new and is like a pretty popular new 2D Mario game, I wouldn't be surprised if they just did an upgrade pack instead of doing one of these free like visual updates or whatever. Now, the next big game is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I am sorry, but this game, for me personally, is trash. Now, listen, the game itself is pretty okay. What ruined it for me was that I had played through Arceus. I had finished the entire game. To go from Arceus to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was such a disappointment. I think I got to like the 3rd gym and I quit because it was just so, it felt painful, to be real with you. I actually think it like felt painful to me seeing a Pokemon game like almost depreciated, which feels crappy to me because like my favorite Pokemon games are like on the 3DS and like the original DS, right? And like those I remember just having like the best memories with, and like going up to like Sword and Shield too. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of Sword and Shield, but there is a fan base for it for sure. But like just introducing the open world and then going from Sword and Shield to Arceus, like my mind was blown because I think the previous generation was like Sun and Moon and stuff like that. So like to see that open world and they're taking another step and then just to be that crappy definitely sucked. And I know Pokemon is like one of the big sellers for Nintendo, and it's still, this game sold like crazy, but I definitely think it hurt some of the reputation that Pokemon had. I don't think it hurt the sales very much, to be real, but I definitely think it hurt what the reputation had. And so hopefully the new Pokemon game, Legends ZA, will be good. But besides that, I am glad that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is getting this sort of upgrade. So it is getting a visual and frame rate upgrade. So visuals, hopefully they, you know, maybe up some of the texture fidelity. I'm hoping. I'm actually gonna be real, I'm praying for this, but besides the point, at least we're getting frame rate and visual upgrades if that's the case, because I feel like I could maybe actually play this game now, and I might replay it because I only got to the 3rd gym like I said. So going on from that, we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, this game isn't from the Switch, it's from the Wii U, but Bowser's Fury is like a Switch 1 game, right? And so this is getting a visual and frame rate upgrade, but I'm curious why this game in particular. Like, I get it's like a loved game, but like for me personally, I don't see the point of doing this. It's nice for sure, but I don't see the point really. I mean, I'll still enjoy the game either way, and I don't think it really needed it too much. But besides the point, it's just nice to have, I guess, in general. I should also mention, reading this up here, it has HDR support and the game chat functionality, as we saw in the Switch 2 trailer. So you can actually use this like with the game share. Now I'm looking at closer. Game chat functionality, I'm guessing means like the share, like when you're in the game chat you can share the game. So that's my guess, hopefully. Next we have Super Mario Odyssey. This game, it was one of the first Switch 1 releases, and like it definitely looked good at the time, but they like optimized frame rate, and like sometimes when I was like loading into Kingdom or like trying to get off in really fast off the ship, I would see a frame drop for sure. And I think this game was really built to like push the Switch 1 to its hardware capabilities. But besides the point, I'm excited to see it on the Switch 2, and I might actually run through it again. We'll see. It's getting a visual update and it's getting HDR support. HDR, specifically in Bowser's Kingdom, it's gonna look pretty good. I will bet you it will look pretty good. It also has expanded multiplayer and the game chat functionality. So that's a bit weird to me, the game chat functionality, because I don't know why you'd want to share this. I mean, I think you can play as the Hat, can't you? Can you? Maybe. We'll find out. But then we have expanded multiplayer. I'm very curious on what that means. Expanded multiplayer for Mario Odyssey. I'm sorry. I'm confused again, because how are you expanding multiplayer? Like, how are you... How? Sorry, I'm losing it. Anyways. Besides the point, let's move on. Now we have games that haven't been announced on this list yet, but are compatible with Switch 2. And I want to know what the interesting thing is too, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about this, but the Switch 1 games that are running on Switch 2, they've kind of had to redo them in a sense. And so the Switch 1 games are apparently being emulated on the Switch 2. And that's very interesting to me, because isn't Nintendo like pretty against emulation? But, you know, besides the point, it's definitely interesting, and we'll see if these games do get a visual upgrade, because I think these games will get a visual upgrade at some point. But besides the point, the other thing I want to mention too is the Switch 2 editions. So like I said before, I think Mario Wonder will definitely get a Switch 2 edition, but other games that might get a Switch 2 edition, I have no idea what they could put for a Switch 2 edition of any games. The top ones that did come to my mind when like people were talking about this like, oh, the PlayStation has like PS4 games and then like PS5 enhanced games or whatever it is, right? They have to pay like $10 more for. So my idea originally was, okay, well, they're probably going to do this for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And boom, I had that answered right away. So I would have no idea what they're going to do next with those types of games. Like I said, I will bet that they most likely will do Mario Wonder. But besides the point, I think we're going to get definitely another list of games that will have these visual updates. And who knows, maybe every direct or something like that, they'll, you know, make a new list or something like that. So I'm excited to see going into the Switch 2 if we're going to get any more and what's the deal with them. And it's an exciting time right now, for sure. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys could just subscribe down below, that would be great. We're just about at 50 subs. I know it's not a lot for a small YouTuber, but oh well. It is what it is. And I hope you guys have a great day. Later.